More than 80 suspects arrested over the weekend after the brutal mass rape at West Village in Krugersdorp on Gauteng's West Rand are expected to appear in the local magistrate's court this morning. For more on this story, let's speak to the co-executive director at Sonke Gender Justice, Bafana Khumalo. A very good day to you, Mr. Khumalo, and thanks for making the time.
Good morning, Desiree, and thank you for having me.
Do you ever remember rape statistics at these levels?
Well, this is unprecedented. I mean, the crime stats that the Minister of Police released about a month ago or so, I mean, left all of us shocked in terms of what we are seeing in this country. Just the number of deaths, contact crimes, rape are more than what we are seeing in Ukraine with a country that is at war. That really should be saying something to us. And we know, Desiree, that the rape cases, particularly that are reported by the minister, are just the tip of the iceberg, because many women do not come forward to report for various reasons, but including the fact that the criminal justice system has let many women down and many have lost confidence and do not come forward.
So, just in terms of your research and the work that you do we have a sense of why there's an increase in rape cases and why they continue without action?
Well, I make this point, and it's almost like a refrain, that we are a patriarchal society, and men continue to do these things because there is a sense of impunity. There's a sense that women's bodies belong to men. There's a sense that men can do as they wish and get away with it, and many do. I mean, we have a sad story that was in the media. I'm sure you must have known, with one of your colleagues in the media, in another media house, who was attacked in her home, almost raped. Of course, we're grateful that she was safe. She managed to scream and run out, and her courage saved her from what could have been a worse scenario. But as we speak up to now, no one has been arrested. The alleged perpetrator remains at large. And that is the problem with our system, is that people do these things because they know that they can get away with it.
When you look at 80 suspects that are being questioned in a crime scene where only about 10 suspects, we said to have only 10 suspects at this moment, do you foresee a problem in terms of the administration of this process going forward? And will it go on for longer periods of time than it's supposed to? Do you envisage the South African criminal justice system being efficient in this regard?
Well, the problem, Desiree, as you know, is that we always, get this hullabaloo when there's a major case that is in the space. We know that in Krugersdorp, in this community where this happened, the community has been reporting since February this year that there has been these episodes of violence. There are marauding gangs of men with automatic weapons, all basically holding the whole community at siege. And nothing was done, So it had to take the gang raping of these women for the police to move in and put in lots of resources into that. Why do we always react like this in this country is really beyond understanding, because it means if this matter was dealt with when it was reported by the community in February, this incident would not have happened. Now, that is the problem that we have, and I keep asking, where is crime intelligence in this country? Why is it that you can have these clips that are going around with men demonstrating large ammunitions and weaponry, with glee, and almost showing everybody that they can do what they wish, and we don't hear of any arrest? It really demonstrates that this country is almost on autopilot, because gangs of syndicates simply do as they wish, and they do that because they know no one is going to move in and do what they're doing. Now, we are hoping that with the arrest of these 80 people in Krugersdorp, that the minister, as he has promised, there will be a prioritization of the DNA assessment so that the right people can be locked up for this crime. But those that are continue these Zamazama crimes can also be put to book so that we really clean these areas. Krugersdorp is just one, and we know we have many of these other communities. And I'm hoping that we are not going to wait until another incident happens in another community, but that the police will be proactive and ensure that they unleash just as equal concentration in all the areas where we know there are these kinds of operations that are taking place and holding communities at siege.
Just in terms of specifically for this particular case, how are you going to engage law enforcement just in trying to get them to speed up this process and give a perception of action being taken against the perpetrators?
Well, as civil society, we monitor these cases very closely, and we're not going to relent in this instance. We want to see, as the minister has assured us, that they have done all that they need to do in terms of the law in collecting all the evidence that was found in the crime scene. And we are expecting that there will be clearer convictions as this matter goes to court. And so we are going to hold him accountable to make sure that indeed, as this process unfolds, there is accountability for those 8 women that was exposed to this brutal attack.
How is Sonke Gender Justice engaging with the conversation around the perpetrators not being of South African origin, and how the law will view, this particular aspect of the case, just in terms of charging the perpetrators?
Well, as Sonke Gender Justice, we have always taken a view that crime is crime. It does not matter where the person is originating from. And we expect the police to deal with crime for what it is. And we don't want to make sense about where the perpetrator came from, because that does not help us resolve what is confronting us. We all know that gender-based violence is very high in this country. And I think it is really irresponsible to simply see this as perpetuated by, foreign nationals. Yes, there are foreign nationals that perpetuate these crimes, but we have also South Africans that are perpetrating the crimes. So if police simply do their job and ensure that whoever is responsible for such crimes gets arrested, we will deal with the bigger issue, which is crime against women. And that for us is the paramount thing that we need to be focusing on. And we would urge, parliamentarians, especially politicians, not to issue statements that are really not helping us in dealing with these matters. We know that the challenges that are confronting us relate to lack of implementation of policies that have been established, which we know are strong and should be able to ensure that we do not go through these challenges. And yet, there's very poor implementation of these policies.
Thank you for speaking to us today. Mr. Bafana Khumalo is with the Sonke Gender Justice as we continue to unpack the different layers of the Krugersdorp story.